Welche Proben hatten wir denn da? Bei Glaschen. Okay, wir können sie nicht nochmal versuchen. Ich glaube, das müssen wir halt schaffen. Okay. Dann machen wir erstmal die Sachen, die wir machen können, würde ich sagen. Gehen wir zu Joyce. Was?
Was that? Could it be the Coldamama Dakwa?
Oh.
No, it's probably just your imagination ringing in your ear.
Jetzt geht's los. Wirklich? Pfeift da etwas? Ich höre genauer hin.
There seems to be an extremely high-pitched ring. Ultrasonic. Lena said it was very high-pitched, right? It's like something tickles your ear. Honestly, your ear isn't hearing a whole lot. The distant hum of the industrial harbor, the traffic. But, admittedly, there is a high-pitched noise somewhere there too. But then, isn't there always?
Ich höre zuerst genau hin.
There it is again. You're about to rediscover a long-lost species.
Stimmt. Ich lausche weiter.
It must be very close. Maybe, just maybe, it will come toward you. Keep still. It might perch on your shoulder. What are you doing? You're a police officer, not a pansy ornithologist. The only birds you should be looking for are healthy women of childbearing age.
Klar. Ich halte ganz still und hoffe, dass der Vogel auf meiner Schulter landet.
Oh no. The sound. It's moving away. Somewhere over there. Go after it.
Wohin?
No. Too late. It's gone. There is no ringing anymore. Just the sound of the streets.
Nein, bitte komm zurück. Lausche erneut.
Keep your ears peeled, then. If the species really has migrated to Martinez, you're sure to hear it again.
Koldomamadakwa. Du hast ihn gehört, den mysteriösen Koldomamadakwa. Da bist du dir sicher. Nun ja, vielleicht nicht ganz sicher, aber sagen wir, dass du es hoffst. Dann wärst du was ganz Besonderes. Der einzige Mensch, der diesen unsichtbaren, körperlosen Vogel hören kann. Dieses lebhafte Flüstern, dieses Klangpartikel. Du musst weiterhin die Ohren spitzen. Sperr die Ohren auf. Interessant, interessant. Diese Frau ist gar nicht mehr hier, die ihren Mann sucht. Was ist mit dem Sound los?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Ich habe mit den Lastwagenfahrern am Kreisverkehr gesprochen.
Yes, my eyes on the harbor have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Moment, wo genau befindet sich dieser Beobachtungsposten?
It doesn't really matter. And I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this.
Na klar, kein Problem.
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours.
Nee, ich lasse Kim den Vortritt.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I'm sure you understand.
Ja, das ist gut gesagt, weil sie will uns ja auch nichts sagen, dann sagen wir ihr jetzt auch nichts.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn.
So sieht's aus.
I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron and strawberries.
Ich habe bereits von einem Zusammenhang zwischen dem Lynchmord und dem Streik gehört, aber ich benötige Ihre Aussage.
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
Kurzzeitig kein Vertrauen mehr? Was soll das heißen?
They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor.
Brauchen Sie denn eine Leibwache?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
Ja, so stimmt es aber nicht ganz. Und dann?
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now.
Im Augenblick?
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
Ach du Scheiße.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Aber dann würde das bedeuten, dass es ja doch nicht die Söldner waren?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
Oh mein Gott.
It'll be all of them. The decision is already made.
Ich muss sagen, das ist nicht Disco.
It is very far from disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put,
Sie greift nach dem Hauptsegel.
if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
Ja, witzig.
They would have to project strength and power.
The débardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a Hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty. These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all.
The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded after every 1, 2, or in your case, 3 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 minutes.
As I said, a bloodbath.
Tja. Finden Sie nicht, dass Sie sich da ein ziemlich trostloses Szenario ausmalen?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Lieutenant W. Frater de Bois.
Sie sieht dich mit vom Wind tränenden Augen an.
All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Wie war das? Ein Blutbad?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
Was können Sie mir über Grenell erzählen?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Down a deep, black well.
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eendracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Okay, wissen Sie noch mehr über die Firma?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources.
Sie denkt nach.
If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell.
Könnten Sie das Unternehmen kontaktieren? Sagen Sie, dass es die Söldner abziehen soll.
I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
Oh je. Sie haben gesagt, der Verstorbene habe einen Übergriff an einer Frau begangen?
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Wir warten für das Zutragen zuständig.
The remaining contractors. Their tribunal. It's what they believe.
Was haben diese Jugendlichen am Kanal erzählt?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
Die meisten glauben das.
This does not come as news to us, but still. To your knowledge, where did this assault take place, if you know?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
Ich stelle mich unwissend. Und wer war diese Frau?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
Dieser Colonel, der gehängt wurde, kannten Sie ihn?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
Hieß?
Lely. His service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Erzählen Sie mir zuerst von den anderen.
One is a man. Corty, they call him. A nickname as well. The other a woman. Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased's?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
In ihrer Stimme liegt ein Anflug von Bedauern.
That's all right, ma'am. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body, and Classier also mentioned it, I believe. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Must be hard to force your face to move in a new fashion. If you continue like this, you'll have an aneurysm. Then you'll have to.
Oh Gott. Wo sind die zwei verbliebenen Söldner jetzt?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
Wir müssen trotzdem wissen, wo sie sich aufhalten.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Unsere Chance ist sehr hoch. Das ist genau das, was ich gesagt habe mit diesem Anführer. Der Streikbrecher, dass der so komisch war. Dann wird das der, wie hieß er jetzt? Habe ich vergessen. Der eine Söldner sein. So, probieren wir es mal aus.
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise.
Ja.
The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
Okay. Der Mann muss der Schlägertyp in der schlecht sitzenden Arbeitskleidung sein, der vor den Hafentoren steht. Der Anführer der Streikbrecher.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
Die Frau hält sich vermutlich in einem Gebäude auf, von dem aus sich der Kreisverkehr überblicken lässt.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a short wave at the ship's wheel.
Ich hatte noch eine andere Frage.
I hope I can answer it better.
Wie viel Zeit haben wir?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
Kurze Stille. Möwen krächzen über der Bucht.
5 days, not more. Maybe sooner.
Okay, wir sind schon an Tag 4. Ha!
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
Schön. Das reicht vorerst.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Ja, jetzt können wir nach den Tätowierungen fragen. Also, können Sie mir etwas über diese Tätowierungen verraten?
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
Sie streckt ihren Arm über das Seil der Reling, nimmt das Foto und hält es dann in der Hand.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Ich schweige und beobachte den Gesichtsausdruck der Frau.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
Was meinen Sie dazu?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars.
Sie zeigt auf einen Punkt auf dem Fotopapier.
I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
Ich sage nichts.
Port cities. On the oceans. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Delorian century, as early as 300 years ago. The sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels.
Welchem Zweck dient so eine Karte?
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
Where is he now?
Er hier ist mittlerweile fast zu Hause.
I would say he's near the Arcade Islands by now, ready to exit the Insulindian and into the Pale, if I've read his home address correctly.
Sie lächelt. Welche Reisen hat der Tote unternommen?
Quite a few. Werde Fort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stadts Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semnese Islands, then this.
Sie zeigt auf sein Herz. Was ist das?
Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor. And these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
In Martinez, looking into Krenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
Ich habe mit diesem Mann nichts zu schaffen, aber vielleicht ist das seine Einsatzgeschichte.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
Wer könnte mir mehr erzählen?
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
Challenge accepted. I say
God.
do it.
Ich brauche die Informationen. Ich schreibe es auf. Söldner zu Tätowierungen befragen.
Do what you have to do, Detective Dubois. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, ma'am.
Mehr muss ich zu den Tätowierungen nicht wissen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Hilfe.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Nein, das wäre vorerst alles.